A close encounter with 14 pounds of demon dog.
That's the meanest dog I've ever seen.
Training tips with a world champion. Adopting a new pet will help make it a success. That's just some of what you can look forward to on this week's edition of Animal Attractions.
Hi, I'm Megan Blake. Welcome to Animal Attractions, the show about the deep affection people have for their pets.
And I'm Alex Boylan, and this beautiful lab here is Buddy. Today, we're going to introduce you to the newly crowned World Champion Agility Dog. That's right, I'm talking #1 in the world. And we're going to show you just how easy it can be for you and your dog to get in on the action.
But first, we're going to meet Buster, a tiny dog with a really big attitude. Not only is he driving his owners crazy, but he's terrorizing his neighborhood. Fortunately, Pet Trainer 911 is on the case.
Charlotte and Mike wanted a companion for their dog Rudy, so they adopted 2-year-old Buster from their local shelter. Buster got along with Rudy right away, but not with the neighbors' dogs. The problem was growing worse.
Oh, hey!
Hi, good morning.
How are y'all? We just ran into Buster. Have y'all seen him today?
We were just talking about how we're surprised he's not barking right now.
The good news is that he absolutely loves people, and he's very social with people. The bad news is that Buster was very, very aggressive towards our friends' dogs.
I hear y'all talking about Buster.
Yeah, we're talking about Buster. That wild child.
It's kind of nice having a quiet morning right now.
We live across the hall from him on the same elevator on the same floor, so we have some real close encounters.
It's just gotten worse and worse, that it's gotten totally out of hand where we can't even get in the elevator at the same time as our neighbors in the elevator with their dog.
I was in the elevator, our door opened up, the door opened up on the other side for the people that live across the hall from us.
And we had gone in our condo, and he ran across the elevator, jumped in our condo,
And basically attacked their dog.
That's the meanest dog I've ever seen. I mean, Charlotte and Mike have lost total control over the dog.
When we go to leave the building, if he sees another dog, he goes ballistic. Even in the car, he's very sweet, loving, caring, lays with me, but if he sees another dog passing,
If our neighbors see us walking down in front of the condos with our dogs, they turn and walk in the other direction. It's just gotten out of hand.
Buster's a great dog. He just needs somebody to teach him the right things to do, and I'm sure teach me the right things to do too as well.
It's a shame. We really love, my wife and I really love the Bolings, but we just can't socialize with them when we're with our dogs because Buster's just all over the place, like a little Tasmanian devil.
I finally called Ron and said, okay, we're at our end of our rope. We need you to come and help us correct this problem.
By calling Coach at the end of the day, I hope that he is able to show us a way,
This is my husband, Mike.
or teach Buster, to not be aggressive towards other dogs.
Okay, and this is Buster. The aggression has got to stop so that we can walk on the beach with them or walk down the street and be friends with our neighbors, and they don't have to look at me and say, what is it?
What the owners were doing when I'm with the dog, they were babying the dog, and they needed to train the dog. They need to give the dog some structure.
Coach White took Buster for 30 days to boot camp, training camp, we call it boot camp. And we missed Buster during that 30-day period, and it's hard to give your child away for 30 days for training.
Well, Buster, to me, is a spoiled brat. The owners didn't know how to handle him. He thinks he's the boss of you and whatever he comes in contact with. You know, Buster wasn't just trying to run the house, he was running the whole neighborhood. We take the dog home, we won't let Buster interact with any dogs. We just want him to get to know me. And then, after the 7 days, we start socializing him with other dogs. Good boy. Well, the first thing we do, we train him to, when we tell him to leave it, that means to me and to him to leave the other dog alone. Leave it. Leave it. What you have to do is let the two dogs get together and just get to know each other. But if you hold him back, the little dog thinks he's won. Right away, we showed him who's the boss.
Coach White asserts his authority by teaching Buster his basic commands: stop, sit, walk in place, etc. He then forces repeated interactions with other dogs, allowing those dogs to invade Buster's space. This gradually teaches Buster how to get along with other dogs.
We let him go up to the other dog, and if he starts acting aggressive, I'll give him a little tug on the leash. No, come back here. Stay right here, Miguel. Let him mess with him. But I won't say his name. Let him mess with him. Because he knows his name. He's heard it for a year and a half, but he ain't heard his commands. Stop. Hey, my name is Buster, and that's Trolley. See you later. Heel.
When Coach brought Buster back, I was totally amazed.
I asked him, I said, how did you do this? And he says, you just have to let your dog know that you're the boss.
You know, even though his dog is behind him, walk him around over here. You know, let him come over here and face this dog. And then when I leave, you should take the dog from him and actually walk these two together. They both got to get along.
Incredible.
When he took the two of those dogs and walked them down the street together with Buster behaving, not even acting up, I was absolutely, totally amazed.
I think Buster did real good with the neighbors' dogs, and it's the owners that have to keep it up, keep socializing the dog. And I told him to take those two Jack Russells and go for a walk with Buster, because they are with the big dog, and that's you. Walk your neighbor's dog, socialize that dog, and you'll see you have a friendly dog. Just do the lead. There you go, just like that. Let him know that you are aware.
Come on. Good boy, Charlie.
And once you give the dog some structure, training, you got a completely different dog.
That's what my father told me. I love you, but I make the rules around here, and Coach said that's the same way I have to be with Buster.
When he finally walked up with Buster with the group of dogs, I was totally amazed.
He's all done.
I could not believe that he was not doing this crazy wild banshee barking and going bananas. He was paying attention and listening to the commands that Ron was giving to him and walking calmly amongst all the dogs.
Now, all you gotta do is keep the circle of dogs around him, because this is his neighborhood. And if you stay trained, the dog will stay trained.
I'm going to show Buster all the love that I really have for him, but I'm also going to stay firm because I want the enjoyment that we can have with Buster and our friends and the interaction that we'll get.
The greatest thing is that now we have a little peace of mind that all the animals are now neighbors as well as the rest of us.
The results have been just absolutely phenomenal. Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much,
you
Ron.
too.
We do
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. This is going to be great.
And the whole neighborhood, thanks.
In the neighborhood, thank you.
He's a dominant dog, so he needed a dominant owner. And too much love and not enough structure makes a Buster. Some dogs I can work with the regular collar. If he's calm, easygoing, you can just use this on him. And then we have the choke chain here. And the choke chain, you can train your dog with this collar here too. But if you got a dog that constantly wants to pull and jump up on you, I wouldn't recommend this one, because you're choking him. It cuts his wind off. When a dog has pulling issues, jumping up on people, and won't listen the choke chain or the regular collar, I use the pinch collar. The pinch collar doesn't hurt the dog. It just reminds the dog of who's the boss, how the mother dog did her puppies. And this pinch collar here, they're round. They're round just like my finger. And once the dog feels this, he respects you. And then after he's trained, you can go back to the choke chain, to your regular collar, because the pinch collar gave the dog some structure. It's very important to have the right leash in training and the right collars to use. And you should always ask your trainer, which collar should you use on your dog?
We all know there are countless ways to have fun with your pooch. Allie and I often like to come to dog parks just like this one. It has over 15 acres of natural surroundings. Shaded jogging trails, 2 swimming pools, big lauded areas with shading trees just for lounging around. And even a little doggy shower to wipe off those muddy paws. But the best part, here, Allie, she can run free, off leash. Just a dog being a dog. She's in dog heaven. Maybe you and your dog prefer more challenging activities. Well, then you should meet Stuart and Patty Ma, who have both been members of the U.S. International Agility Team. Stuart has been a 9-time USDAA national finalist and was inducted into the International Agility Hall of Fame. Together, they have trained 6 national champions and 1 Triple Crown winner. Basically, these guys are the best when it comes to dog agility. And they're gonna show us some ways that we can get started with agility too.
The thing that makes agility the most fun for the dog and the owner is the fact that the dog and the owner work together, and they're always together working as a team. The handler learns to read the dog and learn how to communicate with the dog much more effectively than any other dog sport. The tunnel is one of 8 basic obstacles that you see on an agility course. It's the easiest one to teach, which is why we actually teach the tunnel first by actually taking it and scrunching it up completely, so it's a very, very short tunnel. And what we do is we put what is known as a target down on the other side of the tunnel.
Ready, go, buddy, go.
So the dog sees the cookie or the toy, and the dog can usually go through a very, very short tunnel. As we do that, we do what we call a process of back chaining, where we actually lengthen the tunnel out some so it gets longer and longer.
Go, 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 go. Yay!
Once the dog learns how to go through a straight tunnel, the last step is to teach the dog to be able to go through the tunnel when it's bent. And that's the hardest one to do because the dog doesn't always see the exit. The dog learns a couple things. Number one, it learns a lot of confidence and to be able to do things without having to see things completely, especially in a bent tunnel. And the other thing is to have confidence in the handler that he won't send him into a situation that's undesirable. Wheel pulls are probably the hardest obstacle on the agility course to teach, but they're also the most flashy if you get the dog to do it well, which is why we also back chain and use targets for the weave pulls. In training the weave pulls, we also use what we call a channel method, where the weave pulls are actually split apart sideways. And what we do, we put the dog in the channel at the end, let the dog go to the target, and gradually back the dog up through the weave pulls until they're running through the channel itself. As we teach the dog how to go through the channel, we gradually move the channels in closer and closer until the dog starts weaving.
All right, you ready? Go, 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 go. Get him, get him, get him, get him. Yeah, good girl.
Teaches the dog not only rhythm and balance, but coordination and timing. If you look at the A-frame, there is a yellow zone on the bottom of each side. The dog must be able to touch both the left or the right or the back or the front yellow zones in order to be able to consider having done the A-frame successfully. Some of the A-frames can range up to 6'3" in height, and that's a pretty steep angle for a dog to climb if it's not fit. So it has to be fit, it has to be not overweight, and it has to have some sort of regular training regimen besides just doing agility.
Good.
The teeter-totter is probably the most complex of the 3 contact obstacles. It's the one, not only do they have to touch the yellow on the front and the back, but it also moves. And that's what's very difficult for the dog because it doesn't they don't always know exactly when it's going to move. So the dog has to really, really understand what this obstacle is and how it moves and understand what it does in order to be able to do it well. To do agility, a dog doesn't have to have really formal obedience training. In fact, this dog right here has had really no formal obedience training. All he did was the basic stuff about sit and stay and not run off. He ended up as a world-class, competition agility dog. Even if you're not successful at a world-class level, what you gain from it is being able to spend time with your dog and being able to bond and be closer with the dog and understand what the dog's thinking about, and the dog understands what you think about. So even if you're not doing agility in competition, I always say do it just for that reason alone. But any dog can do it, and I encourage any dog. I've seen Chihuahuas and I've seen Great Danes do it. So it doesn't matter what type of dog you have, if they're enthusiastic enough, they can do it.
Well, that's certainly a cute kitten. But wait, there's a piece missing. Must be a Manx. Actually, not all Manx cats are born tail-free. Some have little stubs, others have longer tails which are often bobbed. Either way, as a breed, they have no shortage of personality. That's what attracts breeder Janet Milligan to them.
The Manx are known as the clowns of the cat fancy. They make excellent pets. They have super personalities. They're very loving and affectionate, extremely smart. They make good pets for anybody, elderly people. They love other animals, dogs, rabbits. They get along well with everything.
The Manx gets its name from its original home, the Isle of Man, situated between Britain and Ireland, and are thought to be a mutation of the domestic cats of that island. However, legend has it that Noah is to blame for slamming the Ark door on the cat's tail. But they are handsome animals.
Manx should have a nice round face. The ears should look like a rocker. They should have a little bit of a break and a short little muzzle, nice little jowly appearance. They should have a short, compact body, higher back legs, give them a little hopping gait. Their coat, if they're short hair, should have a very plushy undercoat. If they're long hair, they should have a long, silky coat. Most of their eyes are blue when they're born, but there is an exception of white cats that do have blue eyes. Manx cats also make very good apartment companions for elderly people or people that don't get out too much. They're perfectly content to stay indoors if they've never been outdoors, or a lot of them will go indoors and outdoors. They adapt very well to any environment.
The Manx is also a keen hunter.
This little cat, there was a nest of rats in the tack room, and she went in there, she came out, she had 2 baby mice in her mouth. She had a tail hanging out of each side of her mouth, and she went back and caught 4 more.
The shorter tail means a shorter spinal cord, so unless you get your Manx from a reputable breeder, there could be problems with undeveloped nerves. They also can be prone to colitis or irritated intestine. So, it's important to find a reliable breeder.
Manx can even have a characteristic bunny hop, oftentimes seen when they're running. This may be due to the fact that the spinal cord's a little bit shortened at the end, or it may be due to the fact that their legs in the back are a little bit longer than the legs in the front. Sometimes you're better off with something of a tail versus no tail at all. That way you'll be sure that there's no nerve deficits in the back end area here.
Once you find a healthy Manx, you'll have endless entertainment with a cat that loves to play till it drops.
A common reason why people come to see me is because their cat is urinating outside of the litter box. Sometimes this can be as simple as the fact that they don't really like their box for whatever reason. Maybe it's not big enough or it's not in a good place. Sometimes they'd like them to not be covered, and sometimes it's actually a litter preference. If this isn't the case, then it's best to take your cat to the vet to rule out a medical condition next. Cats actually don't usually get urinary tract infections, although it is possible, but they can also get crystals and stones actually in their bladder. This is particularly important with male cats who can actually become obstructed and not be able to urinate. Another reason to go see your vet, even if your cat is using the box, is if your cat is straining or going to the box frequently. If it's not a medical condition, it might be a behavioral problem. Sometimes cats get really stressed out by other cats that are tormenting them outside. You might notice them spraying or marking near doors or windows nearby the area where they can see the cat. Separation anxiety is another reason why cats can urinate out of the box. The classic sign for this is when they urinate on your bed while you're away. These are just a couple of the behavioral reasons why your cat might be urinating outside of the box. I would advise seeing your vet at the first sign of a problem.
You've probably heard that before buying a dog, it's best to carefully compare the characteristics of the breed to your personality and lifestyle. But when adopting from the pound, like in this story, it's just about good old-fashioned love.
It's estimated that tens of thousands of cats and dogs a day end up in animal shelters across the U.S., and roughly half of them never make it out. But there is some hope. Through adoption, many animals find their way into loving homes every month.
So Luke, what brought you here today?
Well, I've always wanted a puppy ever since I was little, and my mom's really allergic, and she agreed that if my grandparents let me keep one at their house, then I could have one.
What we do is we interview the people very carefully, and the first thing we ask them is whether they live in an apartment or a house. Do they have a fenced yard? Do they have some kind of electronic fence? Are there people going to be home part of the day?
Another question would be, how long will you be left alone? Are you all employed or?
I'm retired, so I'm home during the day.
Excellent, excellent.
We will not adopt to anybody who's simply going to leave the dog in the yard with a dog house. We think that the dog or the cat should be part of the family. And so we're very careful in our interviews to do that.
What kind of dog are you all looking for? Do you have any ideas?
A puppy, definitely.
A puppy. I'll just need you to complete this application, and then I'll go ahead and take you back and show you what we have. Okay. This is our puppy corral #1. And
I think the biggest misconception that people have is that they see a cute little puppy and they think that the cute little puppy is going to be a cute little puppy. And then what happens is the puppy gets big and becomes a big dog.
We've got 7-Up and Sprite and Dr. Pepper.
And then when it becomes bigger and becomes a teenager, and they do become teenagers and they are very difficult during those teenage years, then are they going to be prepared to train the dog, to take the dog to some kind of obedience school, to take care of the dog? And then if they are really prepared for that lifetime experience, then we know the adoption will work.
I like him.
Too big?
I like him.
But he's too big.
He's a little big.
What do you think, Luke?
Well, yeah, it wasn't, I mean, there were some cool dogs in there, but I just don't think I found the right one.
That's okay, this happens all the time, but there are some dogs up for adoption down on 8th Street. If you all are in town and you want to go take a look while you're here, that would be great.
Thank you very much.
Anybody and everybody can help with fundraisers, and we do fundraisers all over the community, and we have a tremendous amount of community support.
Hi, we're here for puppy kisses.
And businesses can become partners with shelters. And even though the dogs and the cats can't shop at the business, certainly the people who care about them do shop, and they do deal with those businesses that are partners with the local humane societies.
Look at this. Look at that dog.
Look at the puppies.
The ASPCA, which is a national organization, has made their slogan, "Make adoption your first option."
I like that one.
That's a great choice, son. Let's just go over and fill out the paperwork.
This particular pet adoption day is being held in the parking lot of the Red Bones Bakery, a canine confectionery where you can spoil your dog rotten. But remember, chocolate is always a no-no for dogs.
Cindy, how are you?
Great.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
How do you like that?
I love it. Oh, I
Great.
can hardly wait. Oh, you guys do such a great job here.
Thank
I'm
you.
so excited. Put it on the floor and let him dive in.
Oh, he'll have a
What
great
a great
time.
birthday.
Thank
It's-
you.
I'm so happy that you're here. It makes all the birthdays, special birthdays like his first birthday, very special. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Barney.
Bye.
There are so many homeless dogs and cats waiting adoption, and if our shelters get full, then there's no alternative other than to kill all those animals, and they make such wonderful pets.
When we first got him, his white fur was all yellow, and he just didn't shine, but now he shines and his eyes shine, and we just love him. He's been such a special dog.
This dog was scheduled to be euthanized because it had cancer. So we decided to adopt her and bring her into our family. And just her name alone, Aurora, is a shining light. And I tell you, she's been a light in my life forever. She came through with flying colors.
This is my friend Jack. He's the latest addition to our family. He's kind of a special dog. He's got a lot of energy, and he just loves to shower other dogs as well as people with kisses all day long. We picked him up 3 weeks after we lost our other dog, so he sort of gave us joy back into our life.
I just hope that everybody will always make adoption first option that when they're looking for an animal.
You'll get vet paperwork, and we'll give you everything you need to know about the dog as far as what he's had wormed, and in this case he'd be neutered because he's a male. Come on, boy. Oh, good boy, good boy. Here we go.
Come here. They take the dog home and see how it works. Then we do our follow-up, and we go and do a home visit. We call them first. We tell them if there's anything that goes wrong, they're to call us. And the last thing that we insist upon is that if some circumstance should change, that they bring the animal back to us, that they don't dump it by the side of the road or leave it somewhere or tie it up. The animal comes back to us.
Adoption is great.